Now we're coming to the teams which are the World Tour teams. The teams these guys want to beat because they know when they beat them, their name goes around the world as having beaten some of the best bike riders in the world. This is a team which has had great success, and one of the riders won the Olympic gold medal outside Buckingham Palace just over a week ago. So please welcome on stage now the team from Kazakhstan, the Astana Pro team led on by Janis Brakovic, Roman Kreuziger from the Czech Republic, Tanel Kangert from Estonia, Evgeny Pomoryatsky, I've never heard of him, from Kazakhstan, Evgeny Petrov from Russia, and Fabio Aru from Italy. And Gons Stangeli is their manager.
Well, Phil was talking about some of the jerseys that really stand out in the peloton when we see it on television, and I think Team Astana's strip is one of those that really comes out of the television screens. And one of the guys that makes it come out a lot is Janis Brakovic. And although he's finished in the top 10 in the Tour de France, Janis, I think for me, one of the most impressive rides that you did was dropping a guy by the name of Alberto Contador on a famed mountain called the Alpe d'Huez.
Well, it was 2 years ago. I'm really proud of that, and maybe the only thing I regret is not winning the stage.
But this is a race, as we say, it's right up your street. It's in the mountains. You're coming off the Tour de France, and I think this team is a solid team, not a big team, but a solid team for the mountains.
Yeah, I think we have a good team here. I'm feeling great. I come here a lot in Colorado, especially Boulder. So it's sort of one of my favorite races, and I would really like to do well here, so I'll do my best.
It might be a reminder, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, to if you watch the Olympic Games on television, the road race was won by one of the veterans of the sport, your teammate, Alexander Vinokourov. What a ride that was.
Yeah, it was really big ride for him. I mean, he's also at the Tour, he was always on the attack, so I guess that paid off at the Olympics.
Well, I think Bob's going to try his language skills again. Bob, are you going to try a little bit of Italian down this end?
Who else speaks English?
Or Spanish or Italian, come on, Bob.
How about some Italian?
Hey, let's hear some Italian.
Fabio, cosa pensi degli Stati Uniti?
Ma è un posto, è la prima volta che vengo qua, è un posto bellissimo, speriamo di far bene, prima gara dei professionisti.
I'm going to have to ask you to speak a little bit more quickly. I couldn't understand. It's a beautiful place, and it's a pleasure to be here. Hai visitato con qualche tifosi americani dello sport del ciclismo qui negli Stati Uniti fino adesso?
Ho partecipato.
He asked you to stop talking so quickly.
Yeah. That was a northern dialect.
It's going well.
Da dove sei in Italia?
Sardegna.
Sardegna, sì. Sardegna, parlano l'italiano in Sardegna.
Sì.
Però il dialetto è molto duro però.
Eh sì, è una lingua a sé.
So, how about Spanish? Buona fortuna qui negli Stati Uniti. Prima volta essere qui in la bicicletta?
Sì, è la prima volta.
Okay, first time here. You see Fabio, give him a big round of applause out on the road. It should be fun.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. Team Astana.
Well, the next team we're bringing on stage last year won the team prize in the Tour de France. This year they had a real knocking around in that first week. I think, if memory serves me right, 21 riders left the Tour in the first week with broken bones. And this team saw a lot of riders sitting on the floor, not least the man who's going to lead them on stage, who dislocated both his shoulders in separate crashes. But he's back, and he was actually educated here in Fort Lewis. So please welcome now the team from Garmin-Sharp-Barracuda, led on by Tommy D, followed by Tyler Farrer, Nathan Haas, Alex House, Peter Stettner, Christian van der Velde, Dave Zabriskie, Dave Morton, and Charlie Regalius is the team manager. How are you, Nathan? You lost a bit of weight.
Welcome home, Tommy Danielson.
Holy shit.
Press edit real quick.
Bob, what language are you going to use?
Yeah, we'll stick to New Hampshire ease. It's a tough one. Tommy, how's the form right now? The last chance that I commentated on a race, a very sad day when you had to drop out of the Tour de France after a series of brutal crashes. How's it going now?
Thanks for reminding me of that. Yeah, July sucked. Dave Miller won a stage. That was pretty cool. But yeah, it's a tough month. But I'm been so excited for this race. It's given me an awesome opportunity to train specifically for this race. So I'm really pumped to be here and starting in Durango and with our team. It's just so awesome to have these guys here and for me to show them around. And unfortunately, we were going to go to the Palace and get some burgers right before now, but couldn't quite make it happen. But hopefully, we can make it happen tomorrow. But yeah, we're pumped to be here, and I love this place. This is my home.
Seemed like you had pretty good legs in the Tour of Utah last week. What are you hoping for from this week's race?
Better legs.
Even better.
Yes, please.
Okay, better legs for Tommy D. One of the very fastest men on the planet that plies his trades in some of the most dangerous moments in our sport. Standing next to Tommy Danielson is Mr. Taylor Phinney. Welcome to Durango. Pretty tough Tour de France also this year. How are you feeling currently?
Yeah, the tour was a rough one, but it's a few weeks ago now. Everybody's healed up and ready to go again. So hopefully we got all our bad luck out of the way there, and we can have some good luck this week.
Not a lot of opportunities for the sprinters here, but have you identified a stage that you'd like to do well in this week?
Yeah, there's not so many chances, but we'll see. I think the first stage maybe could be a sprint. The stage to Colorado Springs definitely should be. And the rest of the time it'll just be helping our climber guys hopefully win the GC.
The only American to win a tour stage on the 4th of July, Taylor Phinney, best of luck this week.
Well, one of the greatest prestiges, I think, in the sport of professional cycling is to wear the yellow jersey. But it's also if you can win a stage in the Tour of Italy, the Tour of Spain, and the Tour de France. Well, one man standing up here has done that, Dave Zabriskie. Two. Tyler Phinney as well, by the way, but that was in the sprint, that's easy. Dave,
Wow.
What do you... Well, it is if you're fast, like he's fast. You're pretty fast. Faster than both you and I were. Well, faster than you anyway. Dave, will you be waiting for the time trial down towards the end of this race, or are you looking to the form that Tommy Danielson's got, or even Christian Vande?
I'm going to go crazy every day here. I'm going for the big W's every day. I'm going to win this race. There's nothing anybody can do to stop me. And I love Durango way more than Tommy D. In your face, Tommy D. In your face.
Now, Dave, that's actually the most I've ever heard you talk. Is it because of the altitude?
I do believe the altitude has given me clarity at this moment.
And apparently when Tejay retires from the sport, he's going to become a preacher. Ladies and gentlemen, I got it wrong about the guy winning 3 stages in the Tour de France because other people have done that. But this man has finished in 4th place overall in the Tour de France, but you've now got great form. Christian Vande. You had pretty good legs in Utah, and were you using Utah to get yourself ready for this bike race?
Yeah, I hate to admit that, but yeah, it was definitely had Colorado on my mind during Utah. But
I think the song is Carolina on my mind.
I can't follow Dave. I don't. Yeah, Dave. No, I've
got an idea. Dave, can you do me a favor? Could you interview Christian Vande?
Christian, obviously in Utah you had Colorado on your mind. Because you didn't win Utah, so you could possibly win this if you could take it from me. But I don't know if that could happen. What do you think? He forfeited the race to me. You all saw this. Let's not even have the race. I win.
I think he's right. I think we should all stay right here in Durango. Ladies and gentlemen, Garmin-Sharp.
I was going to tell you a little tale before we move on to the next team, because the one thing that reminded me I hadn't stepped back just on 200 years when I went to visit the railroad was the bloody drive-through McDonald's attached to the railway station. We'll go on. Team BMC Racing is the team which has set the world alight around the world these last couple of years. Last year, of course, they produced the Tour de France winner, the first ever win by an Australian. So he's going to lead the team on board now. Please welcome Cadel Evans, Matthias Frank, Ivan Santaromita from Italy, Michael Schall of Switzerland, Johan Chop, the winner of the Tour of Utah, Taylor Phinney, 2 fourth places in the Olympic Games, George Hincapie, 17 Tours de France, and Tejay van Garderen, 4th in the Tour de France. The team at BMC. Where do you start, Bob? How's your Australian?
My Australian's great, though. Thank you, Phil. How about an Italian, Cadel, no? Skip it. We'll skip it. It's a great honor to introduce Cadel Evans back to Durango. He's been here once before. Has it changed at all that you can recall?
Durango? I saw one new bar.
One new bar and one fewer church, so we're moving in the right direction.
You said it. No, I rode past the Mercer Creek today, and I remember my first ride when I came out here as a teenage mountain biker in 1994 and riding the Mercer Creek Trail, and my head is still spinning 18 years later.
You left out the Tour de France win in the meantime, though. This year's tour was looked to be a lot more difficult. Still finished in the top 10 overall. However, how's your form coming into this week's race?
Anyone who follows cycling can see that I've been pretty lousy this year compared to last year. That's very frustrating and annoying, but hey, you keep working at these things and things will come together eventually. I actually feel a bit fresher than last year coming here because I came via Australia here last year, and everything that comes with winning a tour, it's sometimes a little bit fatiguing. A lot of fun, but I'm going all right, but I've got a few tricks up my sleeve and they live at altitude.
All right. Have a new child. Have you brought him to Durango with you?
Your embassy and visa thing's not so friendly on little adopted boys, unfortunately, and for that, my family's at home and I miss them and I'm keen to get back, but no, I'm over here to race well, enjoy the racing, and if first of all be here for the team, and if being here for a result is an opportunity that comes my way, of course I'll take it, but I think most of all I'm here for the effort of the team.
Well, he had a remarkable result last year, all things considered, finishing in the top 10 of the USA Pro Challenge last year. What are your hopes for this year on the overall standing?
Overall standings, let's put the hopes on the young guys over here.
All right. One of the young guys, just to Cadel's, is that your right? Taylor Phinney. It's a great honor to introduce Taylor Phinney to the crowd here in Durango.
When's Taylor Phinney going to move to Durango?
Yeah, I was just about to ask that. Taylor, when are you moving to Durango?
It depends on how Monday goes, I guess.
2 big races recently in London, and great results there for Taylor Phinney. Take us through your experience in London at the Olympics.
The Olympics were great. You know, two fourth place finishes is much better than I could have asked for. You know, it's sort of a bittersweet result because you're so close to a medal, but yet so far. We had great teamwork there, especially from my man over there, Tejay van Garderen, in the road race. And I'm really looking forward to this race this week. You know, passes through Boulder on Saturday, where I was born, and can't wait to give everything I have for my man Tejay and the rest of the boys here. You know, with it being George's last race, we're gonna do him proud. So no, beyond excited.
And looking forward to Flagstaff Mountain, just behind the house where you grew up, part-time, also growing up in Marosica a little bit. So any idea how that might be, the race stage finish up to the top of Flagstaff there?
Yeah, more looking forward to rolling through Boulder and then kind of letting the smaller guys do the climbing, and I'll just kind of sit back and wave to people and say hi. My main goal is the time trial on the last day, you know, so I know the energy on Flagstaff, really, you know, all over the course this year is going to be incredible, and you know, we have a lot of races on the calendar, and you don't necessarily get super excited for every single race, but this is a race that I've been, you know, I just haven't been able to wait for it ever since it happened last year, and so let's bring it on.
All righty, best of luck. Taylor Phinney.
Ladies and gentlemen, I think it was in this race last year. I was talking to a young man, I think 22 years of age at the time, 23 now. He said, I'm fed up. 24. When did you turn 24? Just the other day, after the tour. Just 24. Happy birthday, Tejay van Garderen. He said to me, I'm fed up winning all these best young rider competitions. He won the best young rider competition at the Amgen Tour of California. He won the best young rider competition here last year. But I would think 5th overall in the Tour de France and the best young rider. That deserves a massive round of applause. Tejay van Garderen. You went to the Tour de France this year as an apprentice to learn from Cadel Evans, who won the Tour de France last year. That was a lot of pressure on your shoulders. And Cadel, when the time came, he turned around and I think he helped you a lot.
He did. I mean, from the beginning, I had no pressure, and I just said, okay, I'm going to ride a good time trial. And other than that, I'm going to be there for Cadel in the mountains. And yeah, I mean, I think I helped him out, and then he, you know, when the time came, he gave me the green light to go, and yeah, he definitely helped me out a lot as well.
It's these races, the Amgen Tour of California, the race here in Colorado, that gives the young American riders the chance to dream of going forward, to do what you've just done. Finishing in 5th place in the Tour de France overall this year, you must be thinking now, what's down the road? I know Mr. Liggett has always said that one day you could win the Tour de France.
Yeah, I don't know. I hope so. And yeah, I think the future of American cycling looks really strong. I mean, even behind me and Taylor, we have guys like Joe Zabriskie and Ian Boswell coming up behind us, and I think, yeah, I mean, if we can inspire kids behind them to start riding a bike, and you know, yeah, they can get to the Tour de France also.
Well, talking about inspiration, ladies and gentlemen, one guy has inspired a whole generation of American cyclists. He participated this year in the 17th Tour of Flanders, and he also made a world record in participating in the Tour de France 17 times. Tonight, I'm going to call him Mr. George Hincapie. George, I think you can see what people think about your career. It's been an incredible career. I remember going down 19 years of age when you were disqualified in the homestead. Can you remember that far back?
Oh yeah, absolutely. That was a big day for me. I was obviously disappointed, but paved the way for many years to come after that.
You've chosen this race to be your last professional race. Why is that?
Well, it's being such an important race on the calendar now, and the fact that it's in the United States. The fact that also that you can tell how far the sport has come from when I first turned professional. You know, we didn't really have races like this, so we didn't have this kind of attention on the sport. So you can see how much the sport has grown and how popular it's gotten. And it's you know, finishing my career in the United States felt like the right thing.
And in Colorado.
And in Colorado.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's been a fantastic career, George Hincapie and BMC Racing. They're looking for a win this week. Good luck, guys.
It's rather sad to think that's probably the last time that Paul and I will get to introduce George, because he's been around as long as we have. Now we're going back to Italy now, well, part Italy, because it's part of an American sponsorship as well. And this is a team which has also had a tremendous season around the world, not least with one of the riders we're about to introduce you to. So please now welcome the team from Liquigas-Cannondale, led on by the US champion, Tim Duggan, Valerio Agnoli, Damiano Caruso, Ed King, Paolo Longo Borghini, Vincenzo Nibali, Ivan Basso, and Reno Moser, and led on as Director Sporting Stefano Zanetta.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is one of the top teams in the world, Liquigas-Cannondale. The American professional champion, Tim Duggan. Now, it's a great squad here, and you've decided to go over the border to Canada for next year.
Yeah, that's right. I'm just trying to get a very international experience, going from American team to Italian team to Canadian team. So mostly it's the maple syrup club.
No, one of the reasons is because the Canadians are like the United States, like Australia, like Great Britain, trying to build up an international team to make the sport so much more international. Is that why you've moved across there to be a strong man on that squad?
Yeah, absolutely. We're seeing more and more teams that are kind of branching out of their traditional mold. For example, my Liquigas-Cannondale Italian team is branching out with myself and Ted King in recent years, and some Germans. And every team we're seeing these days is becoming more international, and the races are all over the place. And we have some world-class racing here in the States, and everybody's all over all the time.
Well, you have come straight here from the Olympic Games in London. Just tell us how crazy was that road race?
It was insane. The memory that stands out the most is just the very first 10K of the race. We were almost all hesitant to race. We were so just overwhelmed by the crowd, and you just felt like you're in this claustrophobic tunnel. We had to get used to that for a few minutes before we could open it up and start sending off the attacks. But yeah, it was an unbelievable experience.
Well, you're racing on home turf here, and I would think you're looking for a similar kind of experience here on the roads of Colorado.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the fans on the side of the road are going to be just pretty close to like it was in London. But thankfully, I know the road so well that I don't have to see anything on the side. I can just go.
Ladies and gentlemen, the American professional road racing champion, Tim Duggan.
Quick word with a young man from Italy, from Varese, I believe, who actually speaks very good English. So hopefully we won't have any Varesino dialetto. Ivan, you've had a chance to race in the US Pro Challenge before last year's edition. How did you find the race last year?
Yeah, I think last year I'm really impressed for that race. I put on Twitter today, it's for me, that race is one of the best races in the year. And for me, it's long season. This year I ride the Giro d'Italia and the Tour. And the form at the moment is not super good, but we have a strong team and we do the best as possible during the week. And depend on the situation, but I want to try one or 2 days, do my race and try to do the best. All the rider for sure in the week do a super good US Pro Challenge Colorado.
Best of luck. Liquigas-Cannondale. Thank you, Ivan.
Two teams to go, and what teams they really are. The first one is by a guy who was struggling on his form and his accidents, and then made the Tour de France team, and he was superb, as he was indeed superb last year. He's almost as old as me, and he still races twice as well. So please welcome now the team from Radioshack-Nissan-Trek, led on stage by Chris Horner, Jacob Pulsang, George Bennett, Ben King, Andreas Klurden, Matthew Bouchier, Jens Voigt, Olivier Zog, and the management is Alain Galopin and Lars Mikkelsen.
Did anybody watch last year's Tour de France? Very dramatic crash took Chris Horner out of the event, but was unable to participate in this race last year. How does it feel to be finally here at the U.S. Pro Challenge?
It's always good to make it to a big race in America. You know that, Bob.
Yeah, we suffer at the hands of the sleuths for months in and months. It's great to be in the state.
Yeah, we come up here, normally have fantastic hotels. So, okay, a little different tonight, but we'll get that fixed for the race later. But hey, I didn't go to college, so I get the college experience for the next 2 nights. So when you guys go back home. No, we love it. I mean, I saw the crowds, I saw the fans, and certainly watched it on TV when I was sitting at home on the couch crying about watching the bike race, wanting to be there. You know, it's always difficult when you're on the couch and you see your friends and your teammates out there giving it, especially when they got the huge crowds that Colorado puts out for us. So I'm happy to be here this year.
All right. The team had a great result in the Tour de France this year with Fabien Cancellara winning the prologue. What was it like to defend the yellow jersey in the Tour for the first week of this year's race?
Well, actually, for me, I didn't have to do too much defending the first couple of days, but about the third day, I had to get on the front, close one big gap up to Chavanel to keep the jersey, and after that, it's really a good pride moment when you're on the front. You know, you got Fabien Cancellara wearing the yellow jersey back there, and you're closing down on it so he can keep it. And I can tell you the whole team there, they did a fantastic job riding for him, a fantastic job, of course, for winning the team classification and standing on the podium for Radioshack-Nissan-Trek.
Had a good result in the Tour of Utah recently. How are your legs coming into this year's race?
Well, really, Matthew Boucher put on the result. He finished second overall at Utah for the fans out there that weren't paying attention. We really had some great legs at Utah, and so we hope to continue with those legs with Boucher here, myself, and of course, Bodie and Jakob.
And what would be the optimal outcome of the race?
There's only one optimal outcome we're looking for, and that's the overall win, of course.
All right. Best of luck. A young man I've come to know and adore is Mr. King from the United States of America. We also participated in the Road ID commercials at the Tour. Did anybody see the basketball team? Ben doesn't actually have an afro, but he was the coach in that. How are you feeling? You ready for this race, this week's racing?
I'm feeling well. We just came from the Tour of Utah, and so we had a chance to acclimate. We've really been enjoying this week, and yeah, we've been well rested, and we're ready to get the race started.
Former U.S. road racing champion. Any stages that you might like to excel at? Maybe win a stage for yourself?
I mean, for the guys who are here to support the GC contenders, you know, if we have a chance to go on a breakaway, you know, those aren't always things you can predict, but we're opportunists, so if the opportunity presents itself, then we'll take advantage of it.
All right, best of luck. Thank you.
Well, Ben King was the 2010 US Pro Champion, 2011 US Pro Champion, Matthew Boucher, I hope I'm getting it right. This is Andrew Flood. This one. You got it, let's make some solo. So anyway, you were a revelation in the Amgen Tour of California on the slopes of Mount Velde. It's in this team that you're learning how to ride high in the mountains.
Yeah, I mean, this team has helped me develop quite a bit as a rider. They've been helping me grow as a rider physically, mentally, tactically. I have a lot of strong riders around me to learn from. Plenty on this team as we look online. Good staff, and yeah, it's been a really good team for me to grow on.
And how does it happen when all of a sudden you learn how to ride in the mountains? Because one thing that Bob Rolle and I couldn't do was ride in the mountains. It's a real speciality.
I mean, I've always liked going uphill, whether it was when I was a runner. I always excelled in the climbs, and as a cyclist, I like to think that I'm better at climbing than I am at going on the flats or in a time trial. So even when I wasn't a cyclist and I was always watching the tour or whatever, I'd always envy the guys who were doing the super domestique jobs, going up the Alps or the Pyrenees. So it's always been something I dreamed to do.
A lot of time to do super domestique jobs this week. By the way, Andries Kloden in the middle here finished on the podium in the Tour de France, and he could be the dark horse for Team Radio Shack this week. But I think the man, if any of you watch the Tour de France, if you've ever watched the Tour de France for like the last 15 years, there's one man who cannot go throughout the Tour de France without going on the attack. If you put a number on the back of something, this man will chase it. Jens Voigt. Yeah, maybe it's a competition, Jens, between you and Chris Horner, because, you know, we keep thinking you guys are going to retire, but you just keep adding another year and another year because you just love the sport so much.
Yeah, actually we do, and we still have that passion for the sport. You know, it's not just something we do every day. It's not an everyday office job. We still have the passion for it, and yeah, Chris already having some great results this year, almost winning the race at Durango in the spring in Italy. Last year he won Tour California, so he's a great rider. He still likes to do it, and I like to help the boys. Why are you doing it?
Well, you say it's not a 9-to-5 job, but whenever we watched the Tour de France, for the first 100 kilometres, it was you and somebody else banging away on the front of the main field as if it was a 9-to-5 job.
Well, I'm afraid the tour is a little bit like here. We have a lot of chiefs and like only a few Indians, so I guess I'm one of the Indians that has to work from kilometer zero. There are 7 other chiefs standing next to me, so...
By the way, yes, it's Native American.
Correct. Here we go. I'm a Native American, and these are all the chiefs. Chief Joseph and Crazy Horse and Sitting Bull and all of them.
Jens has always got a good thing to say. Ladies and gentlemen, Radioshack-Nissan-Trek.
Thank you, guys. By the way, they are the team champions of the 2012 Tour de France. We hope Jens never retires. One team left to go. It's from Belgium. It has only one American on it, 2 from Slovakia, 1 from Ireland, 1 from Belgium, and 1 from Italy. So please welcome on stage the last team, and you could say you're saving the best for last. I'll tell you next Sunday. Omega Pharma-QuickStep, led by Levi Leipheimer. The twins, Martin and Peter Velits. Matt Premier of Ireland. Jerome Horn of Belgium. And Francesco Kiki of Italy. And the team manager is Rick Van Slyke.
Oh no, this is going to be hard. 2 twins on this team. Well, there's usually 2 twins, you know. Peter and Martin Velits. Phil Liggett always gets it wrong. I think this is Peter Velits.
Yeah, that's Peter.
Oh, is it Peter?
He's got a bigger nose.
You born first or second?
Second.
But now you're always finishing in front of him.
It's not always.
This gentleman, by the way, finished second in the Vuelta a España. He won the Tour of Oman. And he's going to be one of the right-hand men, I would say, this week for the guy that Bob's going to talk to a little bit towards the end. Peter, Tour de France was a little bit difficult for you. There were days when you were brilliant, there were days when you had a hard time. But the Tour's a strange beast, isn't it?
Yeah, and even when the people say like the Egypt Tour is going to be easy, there's so many climbs, so many big climbs, but anyway it was hard, and yeah, I would say it was one day good, one day not so good, so yeah, it's still a lot of working for me what I need to do.
There's no such thing really as an easy bike race, is there? Whether it's Colorado, whether it's California, it's the bike riders who actually make the race difficult, not always the race route.
Exactly. It can be hard race on a flat course, it can be easy on a hilly course, so it always depends on the riders and how the race goes.
You're going to finish in front of Levi this week.
Maybe.
Ladies and gentlemen, Peter Velits.
Last year was an absolutely spectacular first edition of the USA Pro Challenge. I was absolutely astounded at the people that came out day in and day out to support the man that won the race. A great honor to introduce Levi Leipheimer. Levi this year started out rather well with the win at the Tour of St. Louis down in South America, and it was going absolutely spectacularly in Paris-Nice, and then the second to last day, things started to go cattywampus there, and it's taken a while to right the ship, hasn't it? And a broken leg before the Tour de France and the Tour of California.
Yeah, thanks for bringing that up. Yeah, it started great. We started with a bang. Kiki won the first two stages, and then I won a stage in the overall, and like you said, Paris-Nice was going great. Tom won a stage. I was headed for the podium, and then my season started for real. 3 crashes in one day, run over by a car in the Basque Country. But I've been working hard since, and California was better than expected. Tour of Switzerland was third overall. The Tour de France is just unforgiving, and if you're not 100%, then you're in the middle of the group, and that was the story there. But I've always had this race in the back of my mind, and last week went fairly well with the stage win on the Queen stage there in Utah, and so I'm bringing a lot of momentum and a lot of confidence here into Colorado.
At this year's race last year, we saw a different version of Levi Leipheimer, the attacking Levi Leipheimer, to win the stage into Crested Butte, and a similar stage win in the Tour of Utah just a few days ago on the last day of the race.
Well, I only attack if I know I'm going to win. So how many races do you win? It's not that much, so therefore I don't attack that much. But last year into Crested Butte was awesome because it was surreal for me, because I'm never in that situation where I can just kind of sprint away from everybody, and I was just as surprised as the next guy, and to see the race sort of unfold over the week, and more people come out, and by the time we got to Denver, it was arguably the biggest, most attended day in cycling history in the U.S. It was amazing.
What are your objectives when we get back to Denver after a week's racing?
To pull that yellow jersey on again.
All right. Best of luck, Levi, and your teammate, the Omega Pharma Squad. Best of luck.
Rick's just found the new Belgian beer company on Main Street. Surprised he turned up here tonight. Right. Those are all of the teams taking part. My thanks to the terrible twins behind me, Bob and Paul. Between them, they've ridden 10.5 Tour de France's. Bob fell off at the start, never got to ride the rest of the race. Somebody stepped off the sidewalk and they had to ring for a replacement. It was tactics. Bob didn't want to ride. He wanted to come back to beautiful Durango and spend the summer here. That was the problem. It's going to happen the day after tomorrow. It's my privilege to be here with Paul and Bob. We're going to cover it extensively on NBC Sports Network and NBC itself. We're giving it many, many hours, probably up to 5 hours a day, a lot of it live. I'm looking forward to that. But while I'm here, I would like to say thanks to Durango, especially to the people who've made it possible. The city itself has now opened us up to find out exactly where Bob Rolle lives.
Phil,
yeah?
Before you close down, there's a thing at the bottom of the script here.
What does it say?
Because you haven't got your glasses on tonight. It says, Tommy Danielson would like to come onto the podium and say goodnight to everybody.
Okay, let's have Tommy Danielson then. Tommy D, who told me this afternoon he wants to come back and live here. Where are you now? Oh, you're there. Carry on, Tom.
I just want to say thank you to everybody for making this happen. All you guys out there, the reason why we're here, and I'm able to be here, and on my team, and all the best racers in the world are able to see Durango. So thank you guys for making this happen. Durango rocks. This place is awesome. Let's have the best USA Pro Cycling Challenge that anybody's ever seen. And thank you to Durango for kicking it off. Good night, everybody.
We've got 2 microphones now. I can see all the symptoms. It's official. Tommy Danielson is homesick. No, to the sponsors, thank you all so much, especially Rick, and especially the City Durango and Fort Lewis as well, for getting this off to a great start. Now, the night is not over. It is for us. Well, it's not really. I'm going to start drinking now. And but thanks for having us. Enjoy. There is a cycle ride on tomorrow. Incidentally, you may have not noticed today, but on an aside, I'm patron of a group of cyclists who are riding across from the west to finish in New York on 9/11. They're all naval, army, police, and fire service. And the city of Durango, the fire department, and the police today welcome them here in Durango. And it was so nice to me because they didn't know I was going to turn up. And they were 1 block away from our hotel, the Strata, in 8th Street. The fire department were out in force. The police went down the road and brought them all in. Tomorrow they go on to Colorado Springs, visiting the White House and Barack Obama en route to finishing at 9/11. I got to speak to one of the participants. She was a young girl, but she looked tough, I'll tell you. And I said, what do you do? She says, I work on helicopters. And she said, I've just got back. I said, how long have you been cycling? She said, about 4 days. She'd never ridden a bike before, but a commanding officer in San Diego said, this tour of duties sounds like something you should be doing for all the injured from Afghanistan and Iran. She says, but sir, I've never ridden a bike. He says, well, you better start learning. So I spoke to her. Her name is Jessica, and she's just loving riding a bike. I spoke to the runs leader. She's riding every hill with the front group. But she told us a story. She is in charge of servicing the helicopters in Afghanistan. And when the choppers go in to pull out the injured servicemen, she has to fly in with them in case the helicopter has a mechanical problem. She has to put it right. And that was her job. And she was bringing out the guys at the same time. And she's riding now on this ride, which will continue on tomorrow. But if you see these guys walking around with the white jersey with Tour of Duty on them, you'll know who they are. They're a bunch of Australians and a bunch of Americans, all who have done time in Afghanistan or Iraq. That's a little aside. Thank you all, Durango. Enjoy the rest of the night as we'll enjoy the race all the way to Denver. Thank you very much.